Okay. Yeah, from Aspen FM, 102.3 FM.
I listen all the time.
Okay, I'm gonna have you to say that on tape if that's possible. Well, we can start with that off right away.
Yeah.
Can you say, "Hi, I'm Michael Bublé, and you're listening to Aspen or Aspen, like the location, 102.3 FM."
Sure.
Go for it.
It's Michael Bublé and listen to Aspen on 102.3 FM.
That's fantastic.
Woo!
Okay, Grand Rex Theatre 2008,
Yes.
Luna Park Stadium 2012. Loads of things changed between those two concerts. What are your memories from those concerts in 2008 and your expectations for these concerts now?
It's what's strange is that even at that time I was playing arenas everywhere else in the world, and so I remember coming to the Grand Rex, and for me that show was it was small. It was really intimate compared to what I was used to. I mean, I had that tour. I was playing from 6 to 20,000 seats, and all of a sudden I was in the Grand Rex, and it was this very wonderful, intimate theater, and it was a really nice experience for me. And of course now, I'd come at that time. It was a sort of a difficult time of my life. I'd come through a tough breakup. I had really very little knowledge about Argentina or South American culture, and of course, fast forward to whatever it is, 3 years or something. 3.5 years later, I married a beautiful Argentinian woman. I live here. My Spanish is terrible, but I can speak a little bit. And it's my home, and I'm proud of it. So, I was probably not nervous about these shows, but more excited about any shows I've had this year.
Why is that?
Well, because, what, I belong to you now, I know that sounds strange, but, I married an Argentinian princess, and so now this is my country too. This is my home, and one day my children my children when we have them will grow up here, and they'll speak Spanish, and they will love asado, I'm sure, and Carlos Gardel, and they'll grow up with this culture as well as the Canadian culture. So I want to make my wife proud of me tonight. I want her family to be proud of me.
Speaking of that, speaking of Argentine culture, can you tell me of any Argentine cultural traits that you have picked up since you started this special relationship with Argentina?
Yeah, I think that from your friends here, you can expect fierce loyalty. I really feel that when someone is really your friend here, they will do anything for you, anything. And that love that they give you is quite unconditional. But if you're not friends, you can't expect as much, I don't think. I think you need to expect that everything is a negotiation, and that it's a much different country than the country I come from.
Speaking about the music itself, I'm curious, how do you choose the songs of your repertoire? How do you select them? Because they are so varied, all genres.
It's a lot of the times it's what moves me. I mean, if you look at each record that I've made, they're usually quite autobiographical. If you look at the Crazy Love record, I was hurting. My heart was broken, and it was a record about that, about heartbreak. And I think my next record, because I'm starting to work on it now, and the songs that I'm writing or the songs that I'm choosing to cover have a completely distinct and opposite feel. The feel is now of a content man.
Any sneak peek you can tell me about?
No. I just think that it's kind of like an FU record, I guess.
A nephew record.
An FU record. You're a Boludo record. It's a record saying, listen, to anyone who hurt me, to all the women I was ever with before, to anyone else, I'm happy now.
Talking about your songwriting aspect, do you see that growing in the future, having more songs of your own in the future?
It's weird, man. I've written seven songs. I've written 7 songs, and I've had 7 #1 hits. My batting average is 1,000. My percentage is 100%. So I don't write usually songs that aren't hits. I don't write 10 songs or 12 songs. I usually write 3 or 4 songs on the record, and every one of them has become a #1. So kind of like, I'm not saying that I'm as good as George Harrison, but George Harrison didn't write a lot of songs. He just worked on the ones he thought were hits, and I've got another one that I think is a hit. I think I've got a couple more that'll be number ones for me too. And it's always been a big part of what I did. I think it's what separates me from Sinatra. It separates me from Presley. It separates me from an artist who's just a cover artist. I mean, my biggest, and they're not just hits, but they're my biggest hits. I've never had really a standard that ever was played on the radio.
That makes me wonder, why don't you have an album of original only songs?
Because tonight 6,500 people will come here, and as much as they want to hear Home and Everything and Lost and Haven't Met You Yet, they're going to want to hear Feeling Good and World on a String and Georgia and Crazy Love. And that's a part of what got me here, and now almost 40 million people have bought these records, and I don't want to turn my back on those people.
Absolutely.
I think there's a way, I wish I could say it in Spanish, but I want to show growth without alienating all of the fans.
Absolutely.
It's a difficult thing, it's a tough thing,
No,
because of
definitely.
course, my ego, I think to myself, I could write I could just write a record of hits, but then I would be normal. I would be the same as every other pop singer out there, and this makes me distinct. And you know what? I love the standards. I mean, I should say that too. I love the standards. I love the American Songbook. Those songs move me. I'm passionate about them. They talk about things that matter, and they don't just matter to me. They matter to all of us. I mean, these are things that they wrote about in the early 1900s, and here we are in 2013 or 2012, and they mean as much, because we're talking about love and heartache and longing and these very raw, emotional human feelings that these songs sort of talk about.
Do you think of that being a reason for having such a varied public of different ages?
I think so, yeah. I think that, well, it's funny, because when I put out the first record, I remember complaining to my manager, because my everyone that came to the concert were, 60 years old and up. And as much as I was happy that there were people there, I didn't understand how a 25-year-old could have people in his audience that were so aged. And I was just happy to have them there. But as I started to write the pop songs, and I started to sort of get on pop radio, and I started to compete against people like Justin Timberlake and Lady Gaga, and it definitely brought the audience down. And I think it's really nice for me to look out there and see, you know what, I still have old people out there, and I like that. But I have a lot of young people. I got some black people, some white people, a bunch of gay people, a bunch of not gay people, and I think that that's maybe what I'm proudest of, the diversity of that audience.
Speaking of your links to Latin America and you learning Spanish, do you see yourself probably recording in Spanish in the future? That would open a whole new universe to you.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm already talking about recording with Talia on her next record, and there's a few songs that I've been looking at. There's a song called Gracias a la Vida that I just think is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard, and the message and the words are so beautiful, and I was thinking about that. And of course there's always songs like Bésame Mucho, and there's a bunch. I listen to a lot of Julieta Venegas with Lou, and there's really a lot of stuff that I like. So I doubt that I'd ever make a full Spanish record, but like Nelly Furtado, I might dabble in it and make 2 or 3 songs, and have some fun.
And do you know any Argentine tunes? Have you learned any Argentine tunes that you love? Argentine, not just Latin American.
What's weird is I don't know if they are completely Argentine, but I'm with my wife all the time, and we listen to the radio constantly, and so I recognize tons of songs. I don't know but sometimes I'll say, oh, is this an Argentinian artist? And she'll say, no, he's from Uruguay, or he's from Chile, or he's from Mexico.
Or Spain.
Yeah, and but I recognize a ton of tunes. I wake up in the morning and her alarm is, I don't know what the song's called, but it's like da 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 da. It's, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's anyway. I listen to a lot of stuff. So.
Okay, finally, can you give me any demonstration of your improvements and advance in Spanish?
¿Habla español?
Please.
No, ahora no, pero más tarde, cuando yo tengo el concierto, okay.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much.